Hello everybody and welcome to the channel, and thank you for clicking onto the video to watch this particular content about the educational system. This is something that's been really big in the past few years about what's going on in schools nowadays. Now, putting my hands up, all right? I have two boys. They do not go to school. They are homeschooled, all right? And I'll explain the reasons why me and their mum decided to do that. But just wanted to put that up there. This is based on what I hear from friends. This is what I hear from friends on what they are sharing with children and teaching children in schools nowadays. Now, the thing with schools, all right, is that your children will be spending most of their time at school, more than at home, and more obviously at the weekends. Obviously, they're spending the majority of their time at school. So, do you know the teachers really well? Do you know them? They do things like parents' evenings and things where you spend, I don't know, 20 minutes with somebody. But can you really get to know someone properly who's who's educating your children to the point where your values align? You trust what they're doing. Instead of talking about how well the child is doing, what about you as a teacher? How well are you doing? What topics are you teaching? What homework have you been doing for the next subjects coming up? How do you know that you're at the top of your game? What kind of further education are you doing to be at the top of your game, Mr. or Mrs. Teacher? Why are those questions not being asked? Because if any of my boys are spending a majority of their time with someone, I want to know who that is. And is it actually valuable to my children to spend that time with them? Because if mine and their mums values do not align with who they're spending most of their time with, then why on earth do I want to leave my child with them? Why on earth, if they've got a different opinion on, my children are young, right? They're all sub 9. They're all sub 9, all right? So I say, oh, I've got to. I don't know if I said it before, but I don't agree with them having a mobile phone or being stuck in front of a tablet or being stuck in front of a TV to keep them entertained. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, all right? Because up until they're 7, their brain is really fragile. Brains are complex, right? But up until the age of 7, their brain's not ready to comprehend full-on education and all the stuff that goes on the screens. They're not fully ready for it. It's not developed enough. They're not prepared enough for it. Okay? So when I see people that just plonk their kids in front of a tablet, the kids asking for attention, and then just, here's a tablet, go and watch YouTube. Like, frying the kid's brain, man. Like, frying the kid's brain. Spend the time with your kids. Have the quality time with your kids. And if you're stuck there watching TV, sod the TV. Spend time with your kids. If they want attention, spend that time. Okay? Because you want to ensure that they've got the best start to life, right? And you want to be spending that time with them because you want to be like their best friend. You want to be the person that they go to if they've got an issue. If they want to talk to you about something personally, something that's going on in school, something that's going on with a friend, some issues that they're having. You want them to talk to you. But if you're not prepared to talk with them, they're not going to go to you. They're going to keep things away, keep secrets from you. Because you are not earning the right. You're not earning the right because you're not willing to sacrifice your time to be present with your kids. And if you don't do that, they are not willing, they're most likely not going to be willing to confide in you. And they're potentially going to be really scared to come to you with stuff. because they're not used to talking to you, let alone on a personal or level, or on challenges that they're having. They'll keep it to themselves, and they'll eat away at them, keep biting and biting and biting. And this is the same with the referring back to the educational system. How many of the teachers actually listen to the kids? Or is it the child is just a tick box? Child is just a tick box. I've taught this, tick. They've said that they've acknowledged it, that they know what I'm talking about, tick. But how much do the teachers actually talk to the kids? And when I say talk, get to know them, not just trying to drum stuff into them about, I don't know, stuff that they don't need to know at early ages. Like I say, I'm referring to early ages here. Stuff that they don't need to know at an early age. Reading, counting. Why do they need to know that at 4, 5, 6, 7 years old? Why do they need to know that at that age? Why? Why is it important at that point in their life? And it's not, in my opinion, it's not important. That stuff can come. That stuff can come later on down the line. But their brain will be developed enough to be able to take that stuff on better from the age of 7. But that stuff's not important up until 7, like counting and reading and stuff. Just play. Just let your kids play and enjoy themselves. Have fun. Not sit in a classroom. Put your hand up when you want to speak. How much do you think that does to their anxiety? I've got to put my hand up so I can speak. How much do you think that screws with their mind? Or if they disagree with something and they want to start a debate, not an argument, a debate, they get shut down straight away. What's that teaching them for later life? What's that teaching them when they want to stick up for themselves, if they're potentially being bullied in the workplace when they're an adult, or in the playground as a kid? If they just get shut down, and that programming starts from an early age, and then they don't work on themselves to get past that, that'll be something that'll be with them for the rest of their lives, and they'll be bullied in the workplace, and they'll just accept it because they got shut down in school from an early age, not to speak up, not to try and correct people, not to start a debate, just to put up and shut up. They're the main reasons why I don't agree with the current educational system, and also the topics that are not shared with the kids. You've got law. The legal system within this country should be shared with everybody at high school level, in my opinion. Everybody. Everyone should know what their rights are and what the lawful legislations are within the country. Everyone should know. Everyone should know their rights and to know how they can stand up for themselves. And these things aren't. There's just, you've got history, you've got science, you've got music, you've got English, you've got maths. You've got these things which, okay, they all come, potentially become important. I dare to challenge that law is more important than history. Law is more important than history. Those things should be subjects in further education. People should know about science, of course, and know a little bit about the history, but to have a full-blown class on it and have full-blown GCSEs on it, I don't know. I think that's potentially something a little bit later on at college, for example, if they want to take that a little bit further. But High school should be about, obviously maths, English, language, things that we all use day to day. But then law should be brought in, business. These sorts of things should be brought into play. Obviously, business education I know is in there, but I don't really know the extent of which they teach that. But entrepreneurialism. Entrepreneurialism, is that even a word? Being an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurialism. I'm gonna have to look that up. I doubt that's a word. I'm going to keep it in because it was quite might make some of you laugh. But yeah, those sorts of things. Not just wasting time and numbing kids' brains on stuff they just don't need to know. They don't need to know. So again, this is all my opinion. It's all my opinion. Homeschooling, I feel, has done wonders for our kids. They've got a community they're involved in. They've got that social aspect. They get to have fun. Yes, they're learning stuff, but not in the conventional way. Their language is really, really good. My youngest is really good at talking. He's only 3 years old, bless him, but he's really good at talking. But do you know why? Because I interact with him, their mum interacts with them, and then that we speak to them. We don't just shove them in front of something, and we get them to play together. So if they're a little bit bored, we come up with a game with them. We don't put the TV on or shove them in front of a tablet to keep them entertained. We'll create a game. Let's create a game. Let's talk with one another and let's create something. Out of whatever it may be, but to get those creative thoughts going. And again, it's communication. It's problem solving. And these are things that are massive in later life. Being a problem solver and not just putting up with whatever you're being told. If you feel that that's, there's a better way of doing things, or you actually prefer doing it another way, then solve the problem and don't just put up with stuff. Stick up for yourself. Stand your ground. And if schools come at you for taking the kids out of school with fines or what have you, did you sign an agreement when your kids went into school? I don't believe that's a thing. Correct me if I'm wrong. Again, lack of experience here. But from what I've spoken about with other people, other parents, where their kids do go to school, there is no agreements in place. Therefore, you have all the rights in the world to take your kids out of school when you want and however many times you want. However many times you want. Okay? You do not have to pay those fines whatsoever. Hope this has been a good video. Something that's really, really important to me and massively should be important to every single parent out there. Everybody. Okay, so hope you found it useful. Hope you found it insightful. Again, like I say, it's my opinion that I'm sharing with you. You don't have to agree with me. I'm not expecting everyone to agree with me. But like, subscribe, share, and I'll see you in the next video.